Okay, and here sales document number and customer number is coming. This is okay, fine. Okay, I am getting the sales document number and customer number. If I double click on customer number, what is the sales document number for this one? That sales document number will come here. Okay, fine. This is okay. Now my requirement is, okay, now my requirement is I want to display both the things. See here, if I click on F4 button, okay, if I click on F4 button, here it is coming something sales document number and customer number. Okay, based on the customer number, I am selecting the sales document number. Okay, on the same screen, the same screen, I want to display sales document number, item number, and material number. Okay, previously I have created one more search help, right? I want to apply that search help also. Okay, I want to apply, so I will give some tabs here. Okay, I will give some tabs. If I click on the first tab, then I can select the sales document number based on the material number and item number. Okay, second tab will be there. If I click on second tab, I can select the sales document number based on the customer number. Okay, so that is my requirement now. So in this case, what can we do? So that concept is called collective search help. Okay, till now we have discussed about elementary search help. Okay, elementary search help means I am displaying something input fields from a single table, right? Collective search help is nothing but we have to uh, uh, combine, or we have to bind 2-3 elementary search help into single search help. Here I have created 2 search helps. First one is the ZJF underscore ES underscore SO. Okay, and here it will display sales document number and item number and material number. Okay, and I have created one more search cell, that is ZJF underscore ES underscore SO2. And here it is displaying something SO number and customer number. So these two are the elementary search helps. Now what I am doing, so I am binding these two search helps into single search help. Okay, I am binding these two search helps into single search help, that is the collective search help. Okay, now I will do that one. Okay, I am adding these two search help into one single search help, that is a collective search help here. Okay, so you can take more than 2 also, no problem, 2, 3 or 5 search helps into single search help. Okay, and this is a collective search help. Collective search help, that is why I am taking a CS. Okay, if it is elementary search help, ES I will take here. Click on create button. So I'm creating collective search help. I'm selecting second radio button. Click on OK button. This is for sales information. Okay, and here search help and names I am providing here. What is the search help name for the first one? ZSJF underscore CS underscore ES underscore SO, elementary search help, right? And one more thing, ZSJF underscore ES underscore SO2. Okay, 2 search helps. Okay, now save this one. Okay, and the definition tab, search help parameter. Okay, what is the parameter, input parameter there? VBELN, right? So just import, export, and one minute. I am checking the data element, but VBELN underscore VA. So this is the input parameter. So I am selecting import and export, and data element I am taking here. Save this one, and activate it. So something warnings are coming, no problem. So this is the collective search help, right? I am copying this one and I will use this one in our program. So this is our program, right? And here, okay, this is the collective search help. Right? Save this one, activate the program. Okay, now I am trying to execute this one. Click an F4 button. So here two tabs are coming here. Okay, search help for sales orders and search help in sales order by customer. Okay, whatever I am giving the descriptions, based on the description, it is coming like this. Okay, I will change the description for the first one. Okay, this is the sales orders. Sales orders by material and item. Okay, activate it. No problem. Click on back. Now I will come to the program. Okay, click on back button, activate the program and execute the program. Click on F4 button. So what is the first one here? Sales orders. Okay, sales orders by material number and item number. Okay, so it is coming like this: material number, item number, sales document number. If I click on the sales orders by customer tab, at that time sales document number and customer number is coming here. Okay, so in the same way you can add n number of search helps. Okay, n number of search helps. You can bind 10 elementary searches into a single collective search help. Okay, and here you are providing something hotkey A for this one and hotkey B for second one. Right? So fine. If I click on this F4 button, okay. So what it is displaying by default? By default, it is showing second one. Okay. So if I click on the first one and I'm closing this one, okay, I'm closing this one. Once again, I'm clicking F4 button. So it will display the first one only. By default, first one will show. Okay, by default, first one will show. But for example, I have 10 tabs here. Okay, 10 tabs here. Okay, here only two tabs I'm taking, only two elementary circles I'm taking. Okay, maybe in real time you can get some 10 tabs. Okay, so at that time I want to display exact one. Okay, I want to display exact one directly. Here directly it is coming first one. Okay, if I close this one and once again I am clicking on F4 button, directly it is coming first one only. Okay, so if I click on F4 button at that time, I want to display one specific tab. Okay, I want to display one specific tab. So at that time here, if I click on F4 button, it is coming the first one, right? So here I will provide equal to B. Okay, equal to B and click on F4 button. What it is directly it is showing second one. Okay, directly it is showing second one. For example, here 10 tabs are there. Okay, 10 tabs are there. So if I click on F4 button, then I want to display fifth one defaultly by default. Okay, I want to display fifth one by default. So at that time, here we have to provide what is the hotkey provided that fifth element is search help. Okay, just assume this is the E. Okay, for the fifth tab, I am providing this hotkey as E. Okay, so equal to E and click on F4 button at the time, automatically it will display the fifth tab only. Okay, fifth tab, fifth elementary search help. Okay, so here hotkey is used to, okay, so this is a hotkey. Okay, hotkey here I am doing. Hotkey is used to select the hotkey used to select the elementary search help directly in the collective search help. Okay, so actually this is the collective search help. Okay, so here I am providing equal to that hotkey and click an F4 button at that time directly that elementary search help is opening. Okay, and here I am giving a no. Okay, a no, and click an F4 button. So defaultly it is showing first one. So the question is, without elementary search help, we cannot create collective search help, right? Yes, we cannot create collective search help without elementary search help. Okay, so collective search help is nothing but it is uh, we can add some 3-4 elementary search help in the collective search help. Okay, 3-4 elementary search helps I am binding into one single search help, that is collective search help here. So directly that is not possible. Okay, this is the search help concept, and here from search help concept you can get some more questions like search help exit. Okay, I'm not discussing about this one, search help exit. So in the interview they may ask you question, what is the search help exit here? So search help exit is used to give some conditions. Okay, see, whenever we are using this one, I'm clicking an F4 button. Okay, some tabs are coming. If I click on this button, here I'm giving something conditions, right? So if you use the search help exit, okay, search help exit concept, then you can restrict some columns here. You can restrict some fields here. Means I'm giving something condition there. Okay, I'm giving something condition there. So whatever the values are satisfying with that condition, those values only will display here. Okay, that is possible through search help exit, but in my real time I did not create any search help, and so I did not create any search help exit here. Okay, and that's why I'm not explaining about that one, but in the interview purpose you have to get to know, okay, what is the search help and what is the search help exit, and what is the hotkey and how can we use these all things. Okay, and next question, next thing is log objects. Okay, log object, this is a search help concept, that's it. And next concept is log objects. Okay, so what is the log objects here? So log objects I am explaining theoretically here. Okay, theoretically I am explaining, and practically I cannot show you because we are in fundamentals only. So we are in fundamentals, I can't tell you the terms. See, if I tell function module, function groups, and any includes like that, if I tell like that you cannot understand. So I will discuss that one by practically after some concepts. Okay, so I have to complete some more concepts to discuss about that one, but as of now I am telling about I mean theoretically lock object, what is the use of lock object, like that. Okay, so lock object in the SC11 only you can see the last checkbox, last reader button. Okay, last reader button, that is a lock object. So lock object used to avoid the concurrent access of multiple users on the same database. So if you tell like that, then you cannot understand. Okay, I will go for someone is doing something enhancement here. One minute, I will show you. For example, you are opening, so you are using your Gmail account. Okay, you are using your Gmail account. Okay, so you have opened here. Okay, at the same time, in one more system, I will try to open the Gmail with same user ID and password. Okay, at that time I want to show some message. Okay, it's already using, so you cannot open this one. So like that, I want to show something message means at the same time, only one user can use that one. Okay, at the same time, only one user can use this one. So that is your restriction. You can add like that or you cannot add like that. Okay, maybe this mean you have opened some user ID and password, Gmail user ID and password in one system. At the same time, the another system I can open Gmail ID, Gmail with same user ID and password. Okay, you can open that one also. You are not giving any restriction there. Okay, this type of concept is called like lock object in our SAP. Okay, so once you open any one thing, so at the same time another user should not open that one. Okay, or he can open also, but we cannot edit. So that type of concept is called your lock object. So I am opening this transaction here, MB02 I am opening here. Okay, MB02 I am opening here, the document number something I am giving. Okay, I have given something document number and I am clicking on enter button. Okay, and I will try to open. I will try to open one more time here. Okay, with the same document number. What it is showing? User ABAP 207 blocks material document number is coming. So one more time it is not possible here. Okay, but same document I can try with another transaction, that is MB03. Okay, so it is opening here. That is MB02 and this is MB03. So I am trying to open MB02 in two screens. Okay, it is not opening. It is showing something error there. Okay, same document I am opening in MB03. It is opening there. Okay, that is your wish. Here some concepts, some types are there. Write log, read log, relative log. Okay, mostly we will use these three logs. So write log means if you are one person, you are opening your details, your credentials at one system. Okay, next one. So at the same time, you are trying to open in another system. Okay, then that is not possible. If you use the write log, then that is not possible. Okay, only one user can edit and see the data. Okay, only one user can edit and can see the data at a time. Okay, only one user can edit or he can see the data. If the second user tries to open that credentials, then it won't show anything. Okay, it won't show that one. And the same here, a write log. Only one user can edit, but many users can see. Okay, so if you take the read log, then what will happen? Only one user can edit that one. Okay, only one user can edit that one. At the same time, I can open in another system also, but I cannot edit. Okay, I cannot edit that one. Only I can see, but I cannot edit. And the cumulative log is there. Several users can edit and see at a time. So several users can edit and several users can see the data at a time. Okay, so this is the log objects. Okay, I will show this in the practical way after some concept, like multiple one concept will come. So at that time I will show you, you can understand very easily that one. Okay, but in the interview they may ask you questions like this. So interview questions like data class, delivery class. So if you go to any interview, maximum questions they may ask from data dictionary like this. Okay, data class, delivery class, size category, search helps. I mean, how many types of search helps are there? Okay, log objects. How many log objects are there? What is the use of that one? Okay, and buffering. Next concept is buffering. So, I mean, we don't use that much of things. Okay, but in the interview, they may ask you questions. Okay, so this is the log object. Log object is used to avoid the concurrent access. Same database. Or multiple access. Okay, so log objects are used to avoid the multiple access. Okay, at the same database at the same time. Okay, so if you want to avoid that one, then that is possible through write log. Okay, only one user can edit and only one user can see the data. If you go to log object for read log, then only one user can edit the data, but many users can see, but they cannot edit. Only one can edit at the time. Okay, and cumulative log means several users can edit and several users can see the same data at a time. Okay, this is a cumulative log. So practically I will show you later. And next one is I mean, theoretically I'm telling this one. Okay, and next one is a buffering concept. Okay, buffering concept. What is the buffering here? Okay, buffering means like some temporary memory. So I will open one table here. 1 minute, please. See, buffering concept is coming like this. Okay, buffering concept. In the table, while you are creating a table, at that time the technical settings, we are providing the data class and size category. Okay, and below that one, some buffering concept is there. So maximum buffering concepts will be not allowed here. Okay, so sometimes we can use this one. Okay, sometimes we can use this one. So what is the buffering concept? So in our SAP, we have 3 layers here. Presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Okay, or 3 servers: presentation server, application server, and database server. Okay, I mean, we will call like layers only, not server. Server means like development, quality, and production server, like that it will come. So in each and every server, okay, in each and every server, there will be 3 layers. Okay, presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. 3 layers will be there. Okay, so in the presentation layer, they will give input. they will give input. So at the time it will come to the application layer. Okay, it will come to the application layer. So in the application layer, one more thing, that is the buffering. Okay, in the application layer some buffering area will be there. Okay, so what it will happen, so first of all in the presentation layer I am giving something input. Okay, and I will click on F8 button, execute button. At that time directly it will come to application layer. In the application layer some buffering area will be there. Okay, it will check, so is there any data related to that input. Okay, is there any data related to that input. If the data is not available, it will go to the database layer. Okay, it will go to the database layer and pick the data. So I'm giving something input, right? So that input related information, okay, it will pick that information and it will pass to application layer. Okay, so first of all I am giving something input. Okay, so at that time it will go to application layer. Okay, it will check, so buffering area is there. Okay, one concept, buffering area is there. So at that time it will check, so that input field I am giving here, input data I am giving here. Okay, so related to that input something data is there or not. If the data is not available, then it will go to the database layer. Okay, so it will check here. Okay, it will check that input data is there or not. Okay, maximum it will available in database layer. Okay, it will pick the data, and it will pass to application layer. Okay, here something buffering area will be there. Okay, the data will store in buffer area. Okay, the data will store in buffer area, and after that one, if there is any conditions, okay, if there is any conditions, the calculations, all the things will do in application layer only, and final output will go to presentation layer. Okay, final output will go to presentation layer. Second time I'm taking same thing. Okay, so I'm giving something input in the presentation layer. Now it will go to the application layer. The application layer buffering area is there. Okay, buffering area is there. So in that buffer area, so that input, I'm giving something input, right? So related to that input, anything data is there or not. The data is available. The data is available. It won't go to database layer. Okay, it won't go to database layer. Directly it will pick the data from buffering area and it will display in the presentation layer. Okay, so this is the temporary area. Buffering area means this is a temporary area. If the server is restarted, then all the data will erase from the buffer area. Okay, so we don't use this one. Maximum we don't use this one. In very rare cases we will use this one. But in the interview they may ask you, what is the use of buffering area? Okay, buffering concept. Okay, buffering concept is the temporary memory. Okay, the buffering concept is the temporary memory. It is available in the application layer. Okay, it is available in the application layer. That too, while we are creating the table, at that time we will give the technical settings like data class and size category we will give. So below that one only we can give the buffering concepts also. Okay, and here in the buffering, three types of bufferings are available. Okay, three types of bufferings. Okay, here automatically buffering not allowed, it is coming. Okay, not allowed, and buffering allowed, switched off, and buffering activated, something types this one. And here buffering types are three types: single record buffering, generic area buffering, and fully buffer. Okay, so here single record buffering means, so in the table some columns, some records are there, some 20 records are there. Okay, so you have to select which record you have to pass this one into buffer area. Okay, we have to select that record here. Okay, so how many records you are selecting? Okay, total 20 records are there. I am selecting only 5 records. These 5 records have to go to buffer area. Okay, so in that case we have to go to single record buffering. Okay, single record buffering. Okay, and generic area buffering is there. Generic area buffering means automatically key field information. Okay, only key fields information will go to buffer area. For example, in my table, I am taking two key fields. Okay, sales document number and item number, and after that one I have a lot of fields, material number, quantity, amount, like that. I have a lot of fields, but whatever I am taking, I mean key fields, those key fields only will go to the buffer area by using the generic area buffering. Okay, generic area buffering. If you go to fully buffer, total table will go to buffer area. Okay, total table will go to buffer area. So what will happen here? If something data I will pass to buffer area, but in the select query in the program I am taking other than that one. At that time it won't go to database directly. It will come to the database. It will go to the buffer area, and it will pick that data only. It will display the data, and after that one I will insert something data in the database layer also. At that time it won't pick the data. So maximum we don't go for a buffer area. Okay, very rare cases. I didn't use this buffering concept in my real time till now, but for interview purpose this is important. Okay, interview purpose is important. They will ask you questions. So what is the buffering? What is the buffering concept, and what are the types are there in the buffering? How can you use this one? Where can you use this one? In the tables level, in the technical settings, some buffer area, buffering concept is there. We can select the checkboxes there. Okay, so this type of answers we have to give at that time. Okay, and anyone have doubt up to here? Anyone have doubt? Okay, fine. How many types of search helps are there? Anyone? How many types of search helps are there?
Two types.
Two types.
Just spell those types.
Elementary search help, collective search help.
Okay. So what is the use
Elementary
of
search and collector search.
What is the use of elementary search help?
In elementary search help, we can use single search.
Okay. What about collective search help?
Merging of two or more elementary search helps
Okay.
in one as a one elementary search help.
Okay. How can you use that search help? Any other guy? How can you use that search help in our program?
Method for object and also data element.
Yeah, match code object. That is match code object. We have to give any parameter. We have to give any parameter, and after that one we have to provide match code object and the search help name. So at that time automatically it will apply there. Otherwise we have to create a data element and we have to apply the search help in the data element. And if you use the data element anywhere in SAP, automatically that search help will apply. Okay, fine. And what is the use of buffering concept here? What is buffering?
Temporary memory.
Okay. Okay, this is the temporary memory, that is okay, but how many types are there and what is the use of that one? Any other guy?
There are three types. Presentation, application, database. Presentation, they will give input.
Okay.
Application buffering area. Database, so pick the information and pass to the input.
Okay. So that is the layers in the server. That is okay. Okay, I asked the types of buffering.
Single buffering, generic area buffering, fully buffered. These are the 3 types.
Okay. So what are the uses of that one?
Single record buffering means it will take the some fields into the buffering area, and generic area means some key fields you have to take in buffering area. Fully buffered means you have to fetch the data from the database into the buffering area. Suppose
Total table will
data
goes to
is-
the buffer area. Okay, fine.
yes,
Fine. And what is the data class? Any other guy? What is the data class?
it stores the data in logically.
Ganesh, can you give the chance to other guys also?
Okay.
Okay. So what is the data class? Any other guy?
It contains where our table logically stored in database.
Okay, fine. What is delivery class? Any other guy?
Is the owner of the table.
Okay. Just continue, please.
It's the owner of the table while transferring data from one and controls while transferring data from one table to another table.
Exactly. So it is the owner of the table and it will control the data while transferring data from one table to another table. That's correct only. What is the master data and transaction data here? What is the difference between master data and transaction data? Anyone?
Master data, the data which is not changed frequently, and transaction data is changing frequently.
Yes. Master data means the data which will change frequently. Sorry. The data which won't change frequently, that is master data. Transaction data means it will change the data frequently. Okay, fine. What is the enhancement category? So while creating the table, it will show some warnings enhancement category there. So we have to select some check boxes, right? So four checkbox, 4 radio buttons will come. Okay, so what are the 4 radio buttons here?
Can be enhanced character type and can be enhanced character type or numeric and not classified.
Okay.
Can be enhanced dates.
Okay. So what is the use of cannot be enhanced here? Any other guy? So in the in the enhancement category, cannot be enhanced is there. What is the use of that one?
Structures you can't use in that.
Sorry?
Structures are not used to the
Structures means
can't be enhanced.
structures means two types of structures are there. Two types of structures are not
Include
possible
and
there. No. I am asking like two types of structures are there, right?
Structures.
Yes.
So two types of structures are not possible in the table, or any specific structure not possible. So enhancement category is there. Enhancement category not